Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming back to Living to Do's review of Kandi and the Gang, Episode 3, Rowdy Employees and Uptight Managers. Before I get started with the review, I'd like to ask you to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. And you can also find me on Fanbase. Fanbase is the new monetized app that is out there. You can find me on Fanbase under the same name, Living to Do. So let's get started with the review. So episode 3 started where episode 2 ended, with Torin and Phillip still speaking together to one another, their awkward introduction that they had. Uh, Torin thought that Phillip was disrespectful. He felt disrespected by him, the way he came at him. And Torin put him in check, and I love the way he did it. He said, "Don't let the fineness fool you." Uh, I love Torin. I liked everything about it. I like the way he's fun with the shiny little lip gloss that he has on his confessionals. But I like the way he handled himself with Phillip, because in some respects, Phillip is a bully. Um, they could have both done things differently and better. Maybe the situation would not have been so weird and awkward, and first impressions didn't go very well. Phillip is just, I'm not sure about Phillip. I really want to know what his real issue is. Does he, is he just that much of a jerk, asshole? um, I don't like him. I don't like the way he carries himself. He's very arrogant, and I don't know why he thinks someone is going to respect that. Yeah, especially this clientele or this group of people. It's the way he comes off very poorly. His people skills and a people skill type industry that you need to have uh, people skills, he doesn't have it. I don't know why he would pick such an industry. He needs to work by himself with numbers or something. He doesn't need to work with people. Torrance spoke with Kandi, and he said it was like a dark cloud since he's been back. If Phillip made it feel like a dark cloud around everything. He told Kandi that Phillip tried him like a little boy, and he sure did. He sure did. He didn't need to come off that way to someone you just met. Kandi says pretty much that, Phillip is going to have to figure out this GM position and how to manage people. There's too many complaints coming back about him. So Don Juan, Kandi, and Phillip, they got together and talked. First, actually, it was Phillip walking up to a table where Don Juan was sitting, and he was trying to tell Don Juan about Torin, calling him a name right off the bat, Big Bird, with his Big Bird yellow sweater. And then Kandi came, and Phillip told Kandi that he's not going to be dealing with Torin. Kandi got him together real quick. It's not you telling me what you're not going to do. I pay you to do this. You said you can handle difficult situations, then handle it. And don't tell her, don't backtalk to her. Ugh. I'm so glad Kandi didn't let that slide. And I like the way she handled it too. Inside, I think she was burning up just a little bit more than that. So after that, sometime later, they're talking about it was Brandon talking, his day at work and what it's like. And Dom, his girlfriend, is late. And she's going to come in and talk about life is life in her. Like everybody else, get here on time. Because you have a habit of coming late to work. Brandon, your boyfriend, or your boo, or whatever, is letting it slide. That shouldn't slide. And then Chandrika, she tells on everybody. Tells that she's late. Um, uh, She talks about Philip. Oh, actually, Chandrika and Philip had a little cute moment. I mean, it was ever so brief, and I don't know if we got the whole context of it, but she was talking to Philip, and Philip was laughing and smiling with her. Huh? First of all, Philip laughing and smiling with anybody is like, stop the presses. What's happening here? And doing it with Chandrika? What? Is the man loosening up? I'm sure I spoke too soon. Uh, Brandon and Philip talk. They were talking about what was going on in the bar, in the not the bar, but the whole restaurant. And Philip doesn't really like Brandon's management styles because he's a little bit soft. And Brandon said in his confessional that he doesn't want to be strict. But you got to if you're going to manage. I mean, he doesn't do nothing. He says he doesn't have to do anything. He just oversees things. I think you have to oversee and pick up where they're slacking off. It's not that you just stand around. Um, so Torin and the gang, they meet up at a bar, and the gang is Torin, Patrick, Melvin, Dom, Brandon, Brian, Chandrika, and she brought her boyfriend June. And what we learned here is that Patrick has invited everybody to a housewarming that he's going to have. And that includes Chandrika and her boyfriend June. And we also learned that Chandrika's boyfriend June got in a small little altercation with Patrick. They were together, Chandrika and Patrick, and I'm sorry, Chandrika and her boyfriend June, when Patrick saw them, and it was a little bit of a heated moment. But when they saw each other this time, they greeted each other, so I guess it blew over, or everybody's coming to get the check. So I wonder if June is also getting a check. If he speaks, does he get a check? And Brian was also talking. Was he in a confessional? And he was talking about how he used to drink and drug during the quarantine, and he's off that. So he was, I guess, thinking about going through hard times, and he was crying about that. And it was so sad. Brian just seems like the life of the party. He seems so fun loving. So it's sadder than sad when someone like that, is going through something. So after they went to the bar and had drinks and everything, the next morning they had a morning meeting with all the staff. The only thing I noticed in there, and I know it's Atlanta, and they were just praying after the staff meeting. And I just wondered how many other companies does. I mean, it's a small company, and people got different denominations of religion. I just surprised to still see that kind of thing happen. Um, So at the restaurant, this is after the morning meeting, and Brandon had a few uh, words to the staff. But but Brian, I don't know if he got the message because what he was doing, he was chilling at the bar. And when you're an employee, that's something you can't do. And Brandon noticed it, and he called Brian out on that. But Brian, gave him a little sass before he walked away. But Brandon didn't like Brian's attitude, and it kind of stayed with them so much so that he told Philip about his encounter with Brian. Um, Brandon had a sit down with Don Juan and Philip about it, and they pulled in Brian to talk to him. And they're asking Brian that he needs to be respectful to the management. And Philip, he gets heated so fast, talking about he had multi uh, interactions with Brian, and he's fed up with him. Um, he said that his personality is not going to work, Brian and Phillip kind of went back and forth a little bit, and Phillip told him, "I can terminate you." I mean, he's always at the ready to terminate somebody. And Don Juan thought, Brian is being insubordinate. Uh, and Don Juan walked away with Brian to talk to him a little bit more away from Phillip. And in Don Juan had a what do you call it? He had one of his confessionals, and he said that we don't have time to reprimand Phillip after all these dealings that he has with the employees. And he seems like the problem. It seems like Don Juan is taking that stand that it's more so Phillip and his attitude towards the employees that are causing all these problems. But I have to side with Phillip a little bit. These employees need to be checked. Um, they have the kind of attitude that they do what they want. They think they're cute. They think that sass is something that's not gonna be addressed. I think when they address it, it calms them down. You just got to be bold enough to do so. So when Don Juan and Brian were talking, Don Juan asked Brian to apologize to Phillip. I hate when people do that. If you force someone to apologize, they don't mean it. They don't mean it. Um, so Don Juan and Phillip had a one-on-one afterwards, and Phillip says he is not the problem. He didn't like that Don Juan pulled away Brian. It looked like it undermined what he was saying. He ended up suspending uh, Brian, so he had to go home. So Don Juan let that decision stand that Phillip made to suspend Brian. They didn't say how long he was going to be suspended for. And it was so weird because Phillip wants everybody to respect him, his word. He wants to be the dominating figure when he has to answer to Don Juan. And when Don Juan had a conversation with him, he couldn't take it. He had to walk away. So it goes both ways. It's just how, when you treat somebody like that, Phillip, they feel a certain type of way, and they're going to start to be defensive, just like you were with Don Juan. What makes you better than anybody else? They had a little scene with Patrick going off to his girlfriend's place of business, Safari. The only thing that really happened there is she found out that Torrin is going to be decorating his house, and she wants him to fire him from doing that because she wants to do it herself. And she also found out that her boyfriend Patrick is inviting everybody over to the housewarming, including his little ex that he used to mess with, who he works with. And so his girlfriend has asked him to disinvite Chandrika. So I guess more to see in the upcoming episodes about that. So they cut away to the OLG gang, old lady gang. They're at, I think they're at Mama Joyce's house. And Chandrika shows up. She's there, Mama Joyce's house, with Aunt Nora and Aunt Bertha. Chandrika's come over for some swim aerobics for everybody. Later, Dominique shows up. We learned that Chandrika she's a swimming teacher. And Kandi was going to have her teach her kids to swim. Um, um, who knew that about Chandrika? Good for her. And they did water aerobics. Mama Joyce got into it. She had a pep in her step. She had her little weights in her hand, marching in the water. And she looked, she was having a good time. Aunt Bertha couldn't hang. She got out, sat on the side with her little weights. It's so crazy because after they did all their water exercises, water aerobics, they sat down and had an unhealthy meal. That's Atlanta for you. And then they had a conversation, and Chandrika told everybody there that she had been sent home by Philip. And I think Mama Joyce thinks that was what he should have done. And she's like, and Chandrika said she doesn't have any more problems with Philip. And Mama Joyce says, that's because after he sent you home, there was no more problems. That's what happened. He corrected your behavior. But she was trying to get Chandrika to admit it. But Chandrika was acting like that wasn't it at all. But I think it was. He embarrassed you, sent you home. And when you came back, you got in line. Now, what Kandi said there after they were complaining about Philip, she said she's going to have a talk with Philip, I guess, about how he's been treating the employees there. And I think Kandi is too close to her staff. She's having this friendship relationship with them. They're at her mother's house swimming and interacting. I know it's for a TV show, but all in all, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, so the last episode we have Torrin asking or having Brian out on a date, little ice cream date, and Brian informed Torrin about the suspension. They used to date, Tug and Pull. They're so cute. He wanted to know why Brian had been spiraling out of control. Um, I don't. There was some neglect. I don't know if Philip neglected. I think. I'm sorry, Philip. I think Bryant neglected Torrin and kind of pushed him away. And during this time, poor Brian was drinking a gallon of vodka a day. He was throwing up blood 3 times a day, just really messing with his health. And we found out that his sister, she killed herself, and she was only 49. I think her name was Charlotte. I think at this point it had only been 3 months, so that's really really fresh. And she was also found with vodka near her, so I'm sure that was a wake up call for Brian, and you could see why he's been drinking all these really bad for that time that he was drinking and drugging and in quarantine and he was isolated. Oh, I feel so bad about it for that poor guy. Oh, and he's always the happy one, and oh, he had a lot on his plate. He was really close to his sister, so I'm so sorry for his loss. I know this is a TV show, but that really happened, so that really hurts. So I'm so sorry about that. And that will be the end of this episode. It wasn't as exciting as episode 2 was the best episode so far. And you should speak on it after you watch episode 2. It was just a whole riot. That's it for now. Please like, share, and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. And you can also find me on Fanbase, the new monetized app that is out there. You can find me on Fanbase under the same name, Living to Do. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.